Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Can everybody hear me? All right. Let me mirror my video so everybody can see. Manage camera. Yeah, no problem. No problem, Ron. I'm gonna get started in a bit. I'm gonna mirror my camera real quick so what I'm writing now can be updated. I had to switch from Zoom. Zoom had a new update called Go Live, and I was trying to use it. It was working before. I guess everybody has to register for it, but just give me about 2 minutes. I'm gonna mirror it, and then I'll go over everything with how we're gonna do everything. Mirror. Let's see how I can mirror camera. Testing 1 2 3. Can everybody hear me? Perfect. I'll wait for the people who were on the other one. Video mirror. Flip camera. If not, I'll just wait for like 2 more minutes. Settings on Chrome. Settings, camera. There we go. So far. All right. So I'm not gonna waste too much time trying to flip the camera. All right. So welcome in everybody. I was trying to get everybody started on the Zoom platform. However, dealing with Zoom is they have this new feature where you can do a webinar. I wanted to do that so I can be able to collect data like what I'm talking about on here today. But no worries. I'm gonna open up Microsoft Word and just go from there. And don't worry about the whiteboard. So today is basically a series. I know a lot of people know me from mortgage lending, and that's okay. I am a mortgage lender first. I like to sit back and I always try to say to be inside of a field or a business. Um, I wanted to always be a business owner. That just so happened to have my mortgage license. So that was the mindset I had. So I know my audience, and this is going to be recorded. I was going to have a little more people over in the Zoom, but my audience is full of people who are in the real estate industry, whether it's realtor inspections, credit repair. mortgage lenders, and typically we tend to hone in on our industry a lot more, and then we kind of set back and we don't actually focus on the fact that we are business owners, and just so happen to have that you're doing a business in that industry. So regardless of what business you're doing or what business you're participating in, there's still fundamentals of business. So a few things that I've discovered on my journey as a mortgage lender, I had to kind of start implementing into the business. It was understanding emotional intelligence. That's one of the most important things I think advertisers use, or people who advertise themselves use, in order to actually find out how to find their clients. And then also understanding corporate marketing. I know that we hear, especially as an entrepreneur, anybody who is an entrepreneur, we think corporate mentality, corporate mindset. But when you think about corporate marketing, then you sit back and you're like, okay, this is actually way crazier. I was actually watching a video last night, the Social Dilemmas on Netflix. You guys should watch it. If you haven't watched it, then or you have watched it already, you almost want to take your kids' phones away and delete all the social media. They had a quote there that I wanted to write down, but the whole thing's backwards. But the quote was, there's only two industries that call them the people who use their product users, and that's illegal drugs and social media. So that rung a bell to me, because you know what, there was a point in time where when I kind of had to put a bunch of like install apps to stop me from opening up social media or opening up anything, because they train us to be on that app as long as we can, right? So they have the endless scrolling feature, whereas I think prior to 2015 or whenever they implemented, there's a guy who created an endless scroll where once you swipe up on your phone, there's always going to be a new post, and they say that it gives you the same type of adrenaline or dopamine that you're going to have when you go to a casino, right? And then you think about those people who are at the casinos from sun up to sundown. So that was something that struck my eyes. And then how does this matter in the industry that we're in, right? So we know that the software companies, which is social media, this Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, or X now, they produce not just a billions, trillions of dollars, and nobody has to pay for it, right? So we're like, if you're not paying for it, and this is another quote from that show, and there's a few things I was reading this book. It's called Bad Advertising. I think this is actually also scary. It talks about climate change, and not just climate change as far as what's going on in the weather, but the climate of the economy, the climate of advertising, the change from the word propaganda to public relations, right? So, and if you don't know the story about propaganda, especially if I don't know what generation a lot of you are in, but if you're in the generation that was around World War II, they had the propaganda where it's like, I want to show you guys. I want to share my screen with Zoom, but the young lady in the army with the bandana on her head, and she had an army strong, and it was teaching women to be strong while their men go off to the army. So because we were trying to send as many people off to the army because of the potential threats that the United States had in entering in World War II. With all that being said, why does this matter? So when you're looking to build and dominate in your industry, whether you're a realtor, myself, mortgage lender, nail tech, anything, you have to figure out a few things, right? I had here, this says your prerequisites, right? So your prerequisite, one of them is understanding your ICP, right? So who is your ICP? Your ideal client profile, right? So when I think about an ICP, in my industry as a mortgage lender, or even in my other industry as a when you have a side business as a dog business, and I'll talk about both to give an example. So my ICP was, well, me as a mortgage lender, was first time home buyers, people who haven't purchased a home before, and they want to sort of be in they're new to the industry, and they want to also learn about the home buying experience. I feel like I do a pretty decent job and figuring out and explaining it, breaking it down to the details, to the nitty gritty when it comes to home ownership. Regarding your ICP, how do you determine your ICP? People get the ICP, the ideal client profile, mixed up with the people that they want to work with. You find your ICP, your ideal client profile, from the people you worked with in the past. So it's, if you are told, hey, your internet is off, look through your past contacts and you have 30 minutes to make a sale, whoever you can think of is your ICP. And if you don't know your ICP, you can't get started on Facebook ads. Like, I don't even like that's why I want to make sure we go over prerequisites before we even talk about the importance of advertising, because I can get your ad campaign set up, I can get you $500 on Google Ads, but who are we sending this to? You know, if we just get an ad out there that says, um, I'm a mortgage lender, like, it could go to anybody, right? Facebook, Instagram, they do a great job of advertising to our ICP, but if we don't know our ICP, they don't know how to help you. So anybody who's tried Facebook ads or tried Instagram ads before, they probably ran into an issue of their advertisements that they posted was going to anybody. So it's understanding your ICP. So if you don't, it's fine. You need to have it written down and laminated. If you're the business owner and you have a team, you should be able to go to your assistant or the operations manager and just quiz them. Who's our ICP? Off the top of my head, I know my ICP are first-time home buyers who are looking to buy a home, or first-time investors. So it's the first time for me because I feel like I do a good job breaking it down. On to my puppy business, I understood in that industry that it's surrounded by a lot of people. And well, when I bought my cockapoo, it was basically, I bought one from, I think it was, I can't say that, I won't say the name, but it was a puppy, I guess a puppy store, but you don't know where the puppy came from. So I looked it up. My puppy came from Pennsylvania or something. And then I just started taking inventory, taking advice from people at dog parks. Like, oh yeah, you know, I bought one of the dogs like that before they got sick and passed away. They got sick in this, they got sick in that. So I said, you know what? It's I need to find people who have had experiences of, you know, buying a dog, and they need the transparency of where the dog came from. So I got to share my screen. I can't use the Zoom, but so if my Coco's Cockapoos page, what I started doing, and you can kind of see it, is I started showing them the transparency. I said, hey, I'm breeding the dogs inside the house. I'm breeding the dogs in home. So you see it came from me. You know the mom, you know the dad, the website. It shows, you can go on the page who I am, because people lack transparency in that industry. And then when it's all said and done, I'll make sure I send you guys an email of it. But when it's all said and done, in a small specific realm, people who are looking for designer dogs or cockapoo specifically, you know, I'm ranking top 5 in Florida, and I'm getting hundreds of people that are looking for cockapoos just because I'm specific in that area in my Facebook ads that I'm posting. I haven't even updated that website. It's just a side business, but Facebook continues to, or I'm sorry, this time it's Google. Google continues to promote me because it's such a specific field. So my competition is not other dog breeders. My competition is cockapoo people who are in-home cockapoo breeders. So that's the next prerequisite that I would say we have to understand after ICP. So if you're just coming in, I was talking about understanding your ideal client profile. The next portion is being specific with who you are. So now that you have an ideal client profile, making the name, notifying or titling your company or titling your slogan, whatever it is, your theme of the company, your mission statement or the company towards that ideal client profile is the next step, right? So me being the first time homebuyer person, first time homebuyers always go towards the story with first time. This was the worst experience ever. There's a survey that came out about mortgage or just the mortgage process in general. They said it's almost worse than seeing a dentist. So my slogan became simple, fast, easy. Right? 3 words. I want it to be simple, fast, easy. So not only do I target the mortgage lenders, I'm sorry, target the first time home buyers with the ad campaigns that I have out there. I'm also telling them like, hey, come look at this. It's simple, fast, easy. So when they're told the home buying process is tough, there's an ad campaign that's going out there that's hitting them and saying that it's simple, it's fast, and it's easy. So we've been just targeting our clients and just showing them how um, hey, you're looking to buy a home and this ad campaign came up to you. And also, we know the problem that you've been facing or you've been encountering, and we're going to be simple, we're going to be fast, we're going to be easy. So that helped get people to not only just change from an impression, but actually take action, right? So that's going to lead to our next prerequisite. So we started off with having that ICP, that's the ideal client profile, being specific. You don't want to just be a realtor, right? You want to be a property solutions expert. You don't want to just be a property inspector, right? I'm not too much of in that field of a property inspector, but I'm sure there's a problem that goes on in that industry that you can solve, right? And you probably want to label that business or label that slogan or just market, even just label the advertisement that, because chances are when that client does find it and it's like, wow, this person read my mind, I just faced that problem, I just encountered that problem, and you want to kind of just be specific to that, right? So yeah, leading on to my next prerequisite is having that call to action, right? So we want to find out who we're targeting. We want to make sure we know what problem that needs to be solved, being specific to their problem, and then we want to hit them with a call to action, right? I see so many posts on Instagram or just posts on just advertising in general, and you probably gave me a lot of information, but now what do? You drag me, you hook me in, but now what do you do? So that's what I made sure I did with you all. Every time I'm posting something, I'm specific. My goal right now today, it was to collect information, to collect emails and phone numbers, right? So at the end, you were able to click a link to actually do something, and the action was to um, get you to fill out the form and collect your emails and phone numbers. So I hear people talk, even me, before I started understanding how to get the online offline. I think that's the slogan, what people said. I had 100,000. I have 100,000 followers on TikTok, but so what? You can't do anything with them if all you know is their username. Who's gonna go? Are you gonna go through and siphon through 100,000 people and say, "Hey, buy a dog," or "Hey, buy my product, buy my product"? Every post needs to be a call to action, right? So in the end, hey, find out more information by signing up here, right? That's a strong call to action, right? If you're a realtor, for example, if you are looking to collect information. Realtors do great with just advertising programs. I think that's almost important. So collecting information and then saying, "Hey, we got this exclusive program." Definitely, you don't want to give them everything. I call it the fishing mechanism. I started fishing recently, and you kind of want to throw a little bait out there, right? And then throw a little more bait out there, and then now you throw your hook with the bait on it, and then they bite, right? So you don't want to give them all your bait, right? So when you're out there and you're looking for your next client, right? When you post your ad, it's just give them a little bit to keep their attention. And if they want the whole thing, they got to provide you with something, right? So you want to make sure they're providing you with what you're looking for. I think right now data collection is very important. So if you haven't got the clientele, you want to make sure you get their first name, last name, email, phone number, why they're whatever ad campaign, what they're looking for, and so on and so forth. My ad campaigns always, because I'm a mortgage lender, I can't ask them for a credit report, but as a mortgage lender, we siphon through so many bad applications. So what I try to do is the people who fill out the form, I make sure I have a filtering mechanism, because once you get your ad campaign, you have these things specific and tailored towards what you got running. You are going to have a lot of trial and error. You're going to have somebody fill out a form and maybe a 15-year-old, right? That's why you want to put a checkbox, say, hey, are you 18 years or older, right? Or if you're selling a product that can be sold, you want to make sure you follow the rules of your industry, but you want to make sure you have that mechanism to filter out specific people who aren't, because you're going to have a lot of people. Let me tell you, um, if you are a business owner, and just keep in mind, if you are a business owner, these platforms are taking so much data, and if we know how to create an ad for them, we're going to be the best in our industry. There's just no doubt why everybody in my industry is for sure. The mortgage lender is taught to their client is the realtor. So while everybody's targeting the realtor, my goal is to target the client and bring the realtor to the client. So how do I do so? I know what their clients are looking for, right? Right now interest rates are skyrocketing high. So, okay, I'm understanding the market. My ad campaign out there right now is we have a program that can get you $5,000 of closing cost credit. Everybody's clicking, everybody's jumping on it. And then I'm having these clients and they're coming in the real estate group that I have, they're flooded with just so many phone numbers to call, people that are serious, people that are looking to buy. And then that has been able to help me create relationships opposed to what's going on right now. The standard, I just think real estate industry needs some changing sometimes because right now, you got real estate agents that are doing door knocking, right? I can door knock my entire neighborhood right now in 2 seconds just by putting an ad campaign because Facebook, Google, all of them have data. They know what they're doing. What are people doing the most of the time? Text messages, emails. Text messages are open at an 82% rate, right? Emails, they get notifications. Notifications are one of the most annoying. I know because we go through them, right? I'm looking right now at my watch. I got notifications on my watch. I would look right now, I'll get an email, right? What if that email was something that says, hey, if you're looking to buy, we got a program to get you $5,000. I'm clicking it, right? So I just door knocked everybody in 2 seconds, opposed to door knocking somebody and they're not home or they're just not looking for it. It's kind of hard, right? Or you can just continuously try the way that you have been trying. If it's working, it could work better because right now there's trillions of dollars out there that nobody's grabbing in your industry because right now what they're doing is competing with everybody in the local area. When you're looking on your social media page, chances are whenever you post something for your business, just comment. Look at your comments. The only people who are commenting on your page are people in your industry, right? So it is great if you're looking for a popularity contest. Try to see how many of those are actually new clients, right? How many of them are new people? Say, oh, wow, I am looking to buy. Thank you for this video. It's usually a bunch of fire emojis from people in your industry, and we're so behind. We think that helps. So, oh, fire! If you comment on somebody's picture right now, it's going to promote it. Listen here, Facebook, Instagram, Google, all those places, they sell advertisement. So if you're making a video and they catch that it's an ad, do you think they're going to send it to your ideal client profile when they know that they could have did somebody else in the same industry that's actually paying for it? So utilize it, right? It's 32 cents per impression on certain cases, right? So if in my case, and I'll be transparent on it, I probably spent $3,000 last month on ads, but I got 900 leads, right? In my industry right now, I mean I could do one loan. I'm already more than double breaking even, right? And then I don't have to show my face, right? So we want to talk about that. Strategies. So strategies is what I want to talk to you about. This is more of understanding emotional intelligence, right? So while of course it's amazing to be the expert in your industry, never take that away. Once you have that down pat, your industry's changing a lot. Stay up to date on it. If it's not you that is the person that's doing it, somebody has to have some type of psychological. That's what I want to start getting. Somebody has to have some type of psychological and or emotional intelligence because the emotion is what gets people to do the call to action, right? So I have here, and it's not up right now. It's backwards, but and I'll just go over it. So what our team does, we have this. We coined this term. It's called motivation ping pong. So I'll just give you a quick example of it. I know that it's backwards, but you can see. So when we finally get the lead, what we end up doing is this is me on the intro call. Eventually, it'll be somebody I hire. The intro call, this is the basically motivation scale, right? The motivation scale, people make a decision when the motivation's high, right? So once I have the intro call after they fill out this form, I know for sure that their motivation is low. They don't know, even though they fill out a form and fill out an appointment. I'm still a stranger. So to increase their motivation, we talk about the program, right? So I'm a mortgage lender, so I talk about, hey, there's this exclusive program. So I'm using fear of missing out. FOMO. So there's this exclusive program that we're offering at the moment. And right now, sometimes it could be Hometown Heroes program, sometimes it could be the $5,000 credit. There's 72%, or don't quote me, there's 72% of people who are in the homeownership process don't even know that you can buy a house with less than 20% down, even if your second house. So everything's a program, right? There's so many programs available for people. So that's my second point, right? So I understand where the motivation is high. I understand where the motivation is extremely low. So talk about the home ownership programs available to them. Next is I have to, no matter what in my industry, there's always a barrier to entry, right? Your industry that you're in, if it's collecting a first time payment, collecting an application, collecting just whatever it is, there's always a barrier to entry because you're not going to be doing service for me. And me, in my case, it's applying or pulling credit. As soon as somebody else hears, hey, can you provide me your social security number? Hey, can you do this? It's gonna drop their motivation. So that puts me, I said right here, it's at a scale. It probably have, even though I brought their motivation or their interest up high to like a 5, that telling them they got to pull credit in order to get this program brings it down to a 2, right? They're not that interested. I don't really want to buy, right? So I understand my process. So what I do is I take as much information and I let them know, hey, to get the answer to it, you do have to pull credit. You have to do this, that, and the third. Let me see what I can do. Is it okay? Is it okay if I get back to you within 48 hours, right? So then the next process, what I do is I reach out to the realtor. I understand that the home buying process it takes multiple people. So if you're in an industry that there's situations of higher interest, low interest, understand the structure. Right? I don't want to go too much about the mortgage industry structure. I'm veering off a little bit, but anyway, so I pass it to the realtor because people don't want a mortgage. They need a mortgage. People want to buy a house. So once I get my barrier to entry out the way, I tell the realtor, hey, call the client, show them properties. This is what I got gathered from them. They want to buy in a specific price range, so on so forth. And then my realtor goes and gives them the fantasy, right? Brings their interest back high. And then once they get their interest high enough, they're going to do the credit pull for me. And then it's all uphill from there, right? So how can you implement that same strategy? First and foremost, start taking inventory, start taking data. When do you start having a high interest with your clientele, and when does it start getting low, right? Understand those 2 points and then work a system to where you can go up and down, because no matter what, there are going to be high, it's never going to be all uphill for your industry. Okay, that's no matter what. I can't think of an industry that's not, right? So if you're in a specific business, the first thing you need to think about is understanding the emotional intelligence. So start off, this is my strategy. I use fear of missing out. um, there's always fear of missing out. It's really good on my end because interest rates are low, they're going down, and I can tell people, I can just talk to people about specifically, hey, rates are let down for a little bit, you're going to have the fear of missing out, the property value is low, so on and so forth. In the dog business industry, my fear of missing out was the fact that, hey, when we're breeding dogs, we only can have about 20. I have about 200 people that filled out and that applied. Let me know if you're still interested, because we're actually going through a lot of people. Try to make yourself exclusive, right? Make sure that, hey, like, your time is valuable, and so on and so forth, right? So that's just a part of what I have going on with motivational ping pong. I think everybody has the opportunity to implement this into their business, right? Um, the next strategy that other people use not only is fear of missing out. Let me see what I wrote down. It was also just this it's just a fear tactic, right? What people do, and you can almost coin it every time. um, when the economy goes down, you'll see a lot of people telling you that the US dollar is going to tank, the BRICS are good, the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, South America are going to put together a currency, blah blah blah, this, that, and the third. So that's just straight fear. They're showing you fear. I wouldn't say it's much of fear of missing out, but it's more of a just getting people scared in general, and then telling you, hey, you click enough on their page, they're selling gold, right? People who sell, I think, gold futures, or gold or stocks in gold, or have some type of gold buying course or whatever it is. Another strategy could be just being an entertainer. There's realtors that I see that start rapping or just do whatever it is, but it gathers up data and they kind of make a problem and then they solve it, right? There's other strategies available. I want to share my screen, and then lastly, once you get the ad campaigns up, it's having that way of having a CRM. So if you don't have a CRM, you can catch yourself with just a lot of clientele that you don't have captured in all the way, or just a bunch of contacts that you don't know what they're doing, when they're doing. Collect as much data. Does YouTube allow me to share my screen? Give me a second. 'Cause I want to show you guys my funnel and you'll see. But anyway, so what ends up happening is we'll start off at, I know who is a contact. And I know it's backwards. Help me out with this one. So a person that's a contact for me, I just know I have that contact there. I don't do much of figuring out they haven't made a decision. And then the next person is a lead. A lead to me is somebody that's interested in my program or whatever, or buying a house in general. That person's a lead. After they become a lead, they have options for me. You can be pre-approved, credit repair, or you could be waiting, right? So you're pre-approved, credit repair, or waiting, and that has a different type of drip campaign on each of them. If they're waiting, they get touched 6 months. If they're pre-approved, they're getting touched almost every 5 days. If they're credit repaired, again touched every 3 months, right? Because I still have that lead for life, right? So I'm always going to be there. Touch, I mean, it could be an email, informal email, marketing update, so on and so forth. I say this class as a prerequisite because I know that a lot of people, they saw the numbers on Instagram that about all these things. It's not like I can set everybody up here or anybody up with a Facebook ad. It takes like a month to do it. I can set everybody else up with a Facebook ad or a Google page or even Google ads, but you're going to just get a lot of people. You're going to have that ad up for all of nothing, because what's going to end up happening is you don't know where to go. Facebook doesn't know who your ICP, your ideal client profile is. Instagram doesn't know what your goal is. Like, okay, you have this ad, but you don't have anywhere for me to send a link to or anywhere to collect data at. We don't know. We got to understand that this industry, you have all these pages and you can be on them, and not one of them has ever told you to pay to use it. No, they never will. So you know what? That means you're the product, right? So rather than competing with them and saying, I'm not going to pay them for their ads, I'm not going to pay to be on that, I'm going to do my own, and they're the ones that control it. And then they end up filtering out your information. And then you'll notice whenever you post an advertisement for or a advertisement for your business, and the only people that respond or engage with your business, and maybe you get one or two people outside that actually are interested in maybe buying a house. Most people are just putting fire emojis that know you. If you want to get out of that realm of people as a business owner, it's going to your Instagram account and actually using that ad page. So this was one of the first ones. I know today technical difficulties are, I mean, if you know me, for some reason I love tech, but I always have these difficulties. But next time, the next one, we're going to talk about setting up the ad campaign. After this, I know it's recorded. I know a lot of people were in the other one, so I'll send this recording to them. But after this, what I'll do is the next series is setting up the page. But I mean, for the sake of, before we get to that next video, I want people to just, like, if they can, respond to me in the email and just tell me about who your ICP is, your ideal client profile is, what your call to action is going to be, and what strategy you're going to use to get them right. I only mentioned one or two, but I know that there's a bunch of other strategies that you can do. It can be very informative. There's plenty of strategies you can do in your industry to help dominate. And then once again, you won't be competing with other people in your industry. You're going to be a corporate marketer, not compete with other corporations, rather than me competing with small mortgage companies that are next to me. I'm thinking of like, how is Rocket Mortgage targeting clients, right? Rocket Mortgage has not ever showed up to a home buyer seminar, right? But Rocket Mortgage almost has about 30% of, a little more than 30% of the mortgages out there, right? So if I can barely do what they're doing, if I can barely do what they're doing, you know, I can be coming in last compared to them, but dominating everybody in my local market. I think everybody here can take advantage of it, because if you have enough, if you're a local business owner here, but you're having a corporate marketing mindset, man, it's so far how it can take you. And when I started thinking about it like this, I thought it was going to be a hard switch, because I did lose a lot of business relationships in the midst of it. But the amount of relationships I've gained in a small amount of time, it almost triples the production or the business, and you could too, so I appreciate everybody for joining. Next time it will be on Zoom, so I can share my screen. I'm a little wordsy here, so I want to share my screen for you all, but I hope it was informative. I appreciate everybody, and I'll get in touch with you guys off the camera. You guys have a great rest of your day. And